that smell? It smells like bitch.
This is the furthest thing from respect. And it sucks. Like, I really wish you the best. Do you, boo?
If that's how you fucking move, buddy, then I don't want you anywhere near my life. Like, I'm done. I don't want to be with someone who's like that.
Okay, look, bitch, I ain't finna keep begging you, so what you gonna do?
I'm going home.
Like a weak-ass bitch. Like, you gonna prove all them right.
Hey girly pops, I really need to talk about what has been going on in Love Island season 6 USA. None of my friends freaking watch it. The girls are just not getting it. Like, just watch it. Like, the thing is like, you don't have to watch the other seasons to even enjoy this season. And we got a lot of talking to do. The most intense episodes so far. You think the last episode is intense and then the next one is just more intense. First thing I have to say though before we get into it, my name is Samya Swan. And this is my first kind of video like this, but let's get into this. Ariana Madix, slaying. She's slaying. I do disagree though that people are hating on Sarah Hyland just to bring up Ariana. Let's not take down another girly to bring up another one. But Ariana's slaying. She's clearly for the girlies. Absolutely adore her and love her. And she's actually a fan of the show, which makes it so much more perfect because she just gets it. She's one of us. So, you know, the OG girlies, they received the video of, you know, Aaron being annoying with the other girl Daniela and kissing her, saying, I don't want to hurt anybody else. But we all know how he interacts with her. He's always kissing her and stuff like that. And they kind of graze over that. Oh, he, like, I'll get into it. But he didn't just kiss her a couple times. He was like, they were like not dating, but they were like dating. Like Love Island dating, you know? Like, he was kissing her all the time. I can't with him. So we got Liv and Nicole, you know, comforting Kaylor because the Miss Girlie's crying. And, you know, I can understand it because she's an empath. That's fine. I get it. But her switch up that's gonna happen is crazy. I wasn't surprised, but the Miss Girlie she needs to stand up. Kaylor said, if that's how you move, buddy, don't want you in my life, don't want you near me. Well, we'll see how long that holds up. We all know. And then we also have Miss Serena talking about the reason why she moves the way she moves is because of what Cordell did. She already has that. She clearly has already had something happen to her. People love to be like, don't be on Love Island if you're a slow burner. We need different types of people on Love Island. If everyone's just quick to the punch, then it's just not gonna be like interesting. Like, we need people who are slow burners, medium and quick. You know, we need people who like the tea. We need the forever couples. We need different stuff on TV. And if it's all just one and the same, are we really enjoying it? Serena, she's our slow burner this season. And I stand it. Did she like friend zone Cordell a little bit? Yes, but I feel like she's been pretty like straight up with him, like telling him that, you know, she's not really feeling him. Understandably, because everything he was saying to her from the beginning was so unauthentic. I read that man from the jump. People saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that in CASA, how he switched up. I was not surprised in the slightest, because not saying like just because his brother's an athlete doesn't mean that he's a bad guy. But, which also heard Miss Daniela liking pictures on Instagram. Okay, they need to put them in isolation when they're gonna be put on a show, because these girlies, we'll get into that in a minute, but these girlies just knowing about these men, robbing his overalls, and basically Cordell getting fed everything on a piece of paper because Miss Girlie watched the show and she knew what he wanted and she knew what to say so she could be on the show. That's not to say that Cordell is not much at fault for what he did, as she is. We just all knew what she was doing. But I read Cordell from the beginning. I did not think that everything he was saying everything that Serena wanted to hear. And she was like, dude, have a mind of your own, say what you want. Like, you don't have to agree with everything I say and that's gonna be okay. I'm not gonna like not show interest in you just because, you know, I like a cookie and you like chips, that's okay. And also Kaylor crying in Love Island playing Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. Also, I think they end up playing Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. This episode specifically, along with this season, the music, these producers deserve a raise. They are working overtime. They're giving us hour-and-a-half episodes. But basically, Serena just wanted this man to have a mind of his own and not everything that she says just cater around her. Don't get me wrong, like, he should, you know, worship the grass that she walks on, but just think for yourself. Don't say everything that she wants to hear. Team Serena since the beginning, a lot of people are switching up and like, oh, now I get it, now I love Serena. No, I always loved her. And Serena's just like, no, this is done. She's ready to rip this man to shreds, as she should, because this man is dry in the video. Just doing the most, the whole chapstick. No. Also, I knew Aaron would do what he did too, because in my opinion, when Andrea came onto the show, she's getting too much hate in my opinion. Rob's not getting enough. When Andrea came onto the island, if she actually showed that she had more interest in Aaron, Aaron would have totally left Kayla for her. Because he kept talking about it, but she was showing more interest in Rob, so he just like kind of like pulled back and didn't try as hard. But if he had the chance or the opportunity, he wanted a reason to leave Kayla when she like kissed the guy one time, but I'm not gonna justify it. But he would have tried to be with Andrea. I just know that for a fact. I've been thinking that this whole time. So when they went to Casa Amor, I was like, this man's gonna switch up so quick. I already know he is. I read him and Cordell for filth the minute I saw them on my television. So then it goes back to Casa Amor and Aaron and Rob talking, and basically they're just like,
I did feel very guilty because I was like, oh, kind of like Daniela as well. Couldn't tell Kayla, but I kind of came to the realization when I found myself just thinking about Kayla. I think that's my one.
kind of feels guilty. Kind of, but what do you mean? He like doesn't really feel guilty enough. Mind you, whenever the recoupling starts, man doesn't even shed a tear. He barely feels guilty about it. He switches up so quick. He went from feeling this girl the whole time they're at Casa Amor to the last day not wanting anything to do with her and saying, you know, I actually learned I do want to be with Kayla. He just switches up so freaking quick. Like the way it happened, I was like, this man has no remorse or empathy in his soul, in his body. Terrifying. And also when he calls it off with her, it's just so funny because like, it was just so, the way he did it was just so weird. And then like by the end of him calling it off with Daniela, he almost kisses her. By accident. Yeah, apparently Rob is interested in her and has been the whole time, and they've been feeling each other, yada yada. So it's getting into Casa, you know, the girls got to decide on what they want to do. All I have to say is Janae and Josiah, not gonna happen. I forgot the other guy's name, he was sweeter. I just wasn't really feeling the chemistry. But I remember Josiah because Mans is a cheater. And, you know, some people are trying to say Janae is a pick-me. I think there's some things she might look back at and regret saying, but I don't think that she's a pick-me. I think she is just a girl who wears her heart on her sleeve and just wants love. Do you know what I mean? Justice for Janae. Her and Kenny are soulmates. I don't care what anyone says. I wasn't sure how I felt about him, but when they had the whole rom-com scene, we will be getting to that. And also when I saw Kenny and the Casa girl kiss, it was not cute. It was not flattering. Did not like it. Did not enjoy that. And I deserve to have my $5.99 back from Peacock for watching that. And also I need to mention before I even get into it, because it's going to be talked about in the After Sun episode, the girls, Liv and Kayla, yell F Casa. They kept saying F Casa Amor, but we will get back into that as soon as we get to After Sun episode. I'm sorry we're jumping around. I'm just trying to do this episode in order, so we're moving around a little bit. So the recoupling begins, of course, and Liv is the only person who ends up coupling up with anybody. Liv couples up with Kane. I'm not really feeling that relationship. It's giving friendship, but you know, I think it was just she had to choose one of them, and that's the only person she was vibing with. For me, I just think it's more of a friendship. I don't know what that girl likes. I am starting to like her more than I did in the beginning. I wasn't sure how I felt about her, but I'm feeling her a little bit more than I was before. I actually do like her. But I don't know what she likes. Like, girl, what do you like? It just seems like she is just not really feeling any of the men, really. Like, she's kind of feeling Rob, which, please don't. Please don't, girl. So, obviously, you know, the next person who couples up is Nicole. She obviously stays loyal. Kendall comes back, he stays loyal. It was honestly really cute how that scene happened. Even though he's on my list for I have issues with him because of what he said on the video, saying that's definitely not Kayla. And he was like hyping them up about all these men acting a hot mess over there. So I have a little bit of beef with him. But the recoupling scene was cute. It was cute. So Leah said that she'll stay loyal to Miggy, which I was very surprised because, well, I wasn't really surprised. I didn't know if she was gonna stay alone or with him. I didn't think she was gonna choose any of the men. Justice for Iggy. Please bring him back on to the next season. He was too kind. I don't think that was her type. I don't really think any of those men were any of those girls' types, so was it hard for them to fight the urge? Probably not. Not trying to take credit away from them, absolutely not. But Liv was probably not happy with the choices she was given. Same with Leah. But obviously Miguel did bring someone back and her name is Sierra. But she's like, you know, I get it. I'm not too bothered by it, and she still likes him. And that's that. She was like, we didn't really have a whole lot of time together, so, you know, we was just getting to know each other, so that's fine. My girl Janae, she stays loyal to Kenny because she's such a doll. She's literally Barbie. I love her. She said if Kenny brings back a girly, someone better hold her mic. Someone better hold her freaking mic. And he does, with a girl named Catherine. In my opinion, I think that he just brought a girl back because he was insecure that Janae was going to bring a guy back. They didn't have a whole lot of time together, but, you know, I feel like they were really feeling each other. And he was afraid that, and I don't think he wanted to, like, leave Janae. I just think that he was insecure that she was going to be with someone else and bring someone, and he was just going to be alone. People were like, yeah, he just wanted that screen time. No, I don't think it was necessarily that, and it could have been a little bit of that, but I think that he just didn't want to be alone and he didn't want to feel or look stupid, so he didn't want to take the risk. But Janae, she took a risk, and unfortunately, now they're not a thing. Which I was like, please. But I'm holding out for them, justice for them, because if they get back together, they better freaking win this season. I don't care. I don't care. And I just felt so bad for Janae because when he walked through, she was like, where's my suitcase? I'm freaking leaving. I need my ticket out. I want to freaking go right now. She was so ready to go. And as a girlie who's a hopeless romantic, I felt everything. And of course, the girlies are like, F CASA, you know what I mean? As they should be. All their outfits are cute. They are all eating. These are Love Kaylor, Love You Girly Pop, the big three. They're eating. I feel like it's a little bit of a divide in the house, you know, not necessarily, but I feel like the girlies who are always like standing with each other, you know, they might have a little back and forth, but like at the end of the day, like they're gonna have each other's back, these three. And then I feel like there's Liv, Kaylor, and Nicole. Like Nicole was kind of like feeling like Janae was coming at her. I don't know, that scene gave me the ick because Janae was not coming at Nicole in no type of way. If y'all seen that scene, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the next part is hilarious. This is Kaylor's part where it's time for Kaylor to recouple. Tell me why. Erin starts, obviously, you know, she talks about the video and she's like, I'm staying single, whatever. We know she ain't gonna stand on that word at all, not even a tiny bit. Tell me why. Erin walks in, he goes, whoa, let's go.
Oh, shit. No, it doesn't know, it doesn't know.
Let's go! Not yet, Aaron, not yet.
Janae goes, no, buddy, not yet. When I tell you embarrassment, we'll be following him for the rest of his life. Kaylor's like, buddy, I got a video from CASA, how about you explain? And Erin, at least a million times, this whole fire pit. I just think it'd be best if we talk about it later. I think it'd just be best if we talk about it later. I don't want to talk about it right now. Just give me a moment once we're all done with it and we'll go back and talk about it later. Talk about what later? No, talk about it now. Ariana says, I have all the time in the world. You can talk about it now. Miss Ariana 8. I wonder how Sheena feels that Ariana slings so freaking hard. And Kaylor kind of just starts talking about the video again, and she says, I seen you bite a girl's arm, saying I want to freaking kiss you so badly right now, but I don't want to hurt someone else. But obviously he proceeded to basically boyfriend and girlfriend with this girl the whole time he was in CASA up until like the last minute. He switched up, which again made no sense. It was so freaking random. It was just out of the blue, and I was like, what is this? This can't be real. And obviously she mentioned that like Rob hurt her feelings, that like what he said, like it was just, it hurt her feelings, and it was understandable because like you're saying you like this other girl that you barely have known more than you like Kaylor. Like Kaylor's supposed to be your girl, like your friend. Like no. After all of that talking, Kaylor crying and talking about what happened and what she saw, Erin didn't even shed a tear. But anyways, Erin sits down and Kaylor sits down, but they're on the opposite sides. And Ariana's like, why don't you guys switch? That was iconic. I don't care what anyone says. It will be remembered forever. Because she knew she needed to sit with the girlies. Even though they're not the closest, at the end of the day, the girlhood, it's giving Barbie, it's giving everything it needed to give. And honestly, I care about the friendships more than I care about the relationships. So Rob comes back, right? He comes, he's walking, you know, the walk of shame. This man walks in with Daniela. And all the girls are like, Kaylor, so innocent, so sweet. She starts clapping. She didn't even realize who it was. And Janae's like, no, I think that is who we might think that is. When she got closer, Kaylor was like, no. Liv's like, oh my goodness. Leah's like, oh. Serena's like, what? So it's Daniela. They're like, what is even happening? I'm confused. They're confused. We're all confused because they got the video. We, the people, the audience, saw what was going on in CASA. That girl was with Aaron this whole time. And then she pulls up in the villa with freaking Rob. That's scheming at its finest. I don't care what anyone says. It's giving scheming. It's giving weird. And typically I do not watch the After Sun videos. But this one just felt necessary because I was like, I need answers. There has to be a reason why he was acting this way. Where's the footage? I need this to give perfect match the last episode of the second season. I need footage. I need receipts because what in the world was up with that switch up? He sits down and they're like, oh, we saw a video. Janae's like, yeah, we saw a video, bro. We are so confused as to why you were with her and not with Aaron. In my opinion, Aaron is clearly in love with Rob because he was literally gonna cry when he was gonna leave the island, and he didn't shed a tear when Kayla was pouring her heart out. This man did not even blink. He just kept saying, we'll talk about it later. His favorite line of the season. You should get that tattooed on his forehead. Okay, so the best part of the freaking episode, Serena and freaking Cordell. Obviously, Serena stays single because you know what she saw in Cordell, as we expected. He brought back Daya, which, can we just talk about their age gap? He's 22 and she's 27. Like, my prefrontal cortex isn't even developed all the way yet. And she's just giving groupie. I'm like not trying to hate on her. She clearly watched the show. She clearly was like, I know how to get Cordell. I'm gonna do everything that he wants so that he will bring me back. I'm gonna do everything that Serena wasn't doing. And I was trying to really stand up for these girls, but once they come into the house, they are not giving girl at all. They are not the vibe. They are not it. Cordell starts walking with Daya, and this man could not look up to save his life. He literally had his head down because he knew how much he messed up. This girl had to tell him to put his head up like she was his mommy. She said, dude, put your head up. Like, again, as Leah said, say that with your chest. If you're going to bring a girl back, don't have shame in it. Freaking do it. Just, you already did it. You already did it. You can't take it back. That's like people who tip badly and put the receipt upside down. If you're gonna tip bad, say that with your chest. You did what you did. Don't have shame in it. You already did it. And then Ariana's like, how do you feel about seeing Serena single? And he's like, not good at all. And Leah and the girl, he's like, nah, bro, say that with your chest. Say it. And he said he felt a little bad. Guys, I'm not trying to cuss, but we all know what he really said. He said, I don't feel that bad. And Serena's like, you wasn't feeling bad when you was getting it on, you know, in the bed. She said, and Serena said, we had a great talk the last time we chit-chatted before you went to CASA. She's like, I understood if you wanted to explore other things. She said she knew that, like, she was like, you know, not necessarily giving him everything he wants. She's a slow burner and he clearly likes touchy-feely in the moment. But she was like, he could have talked to other people in a respectful way, and he did the complete opposite. He did it in the most disrespectful way. And then they were talking about how they saw a video and he was denying that he was doing anything in the video. He's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I didn't do all that, this and that and the other. But eventually they get to it again in the couple episodes and they talk about it. But let's talk about After Sun. Let's just do a quick little dive into that real quick. One of the girls from CASA, AMOR, she's in the After Sun episode. And she talks about how he switches up so quick when he hears the girls, Kayla and Liv, yell, F CASA, F CASA. Aaron heard it. And he switched up immediately. He said he heard it, they all heard it. And they even show a little mini clip of it. They're like, is that Kayla? And so that's why that they think that he switched up, because he wouldn't have if he didn't hear her yell that. I just found that so interesting. Yeah, justice for Iggy again, because he was so sweet in that episode, in the After Sun episode. He was just so kind. He needs to come back. He needs to come and be in the next season and actually have a full writing chance to be on here, because he's so sweet. Like him translating that video for them because the girlies didn't understand. All right, girlies. Episode 24, the follow-up from the fire pit. Let's freaking talk about it. So everyone's starting to walk away from the pit and everything. All I hear is the CASA girls saying, are they always like that? Are they always mean? I don't like the theatrics. I don't like all that. I thought it was just for the tea. How did you think they were going to act? How did you think you were going to act? You would be acting the same way if it was the other way around. I'm not saying the CASA girls did anything wrong. They went there to do what they were, like, they did what they wanted to do when they went there. They did what they were supposed to, find love. But how did they think the girls were going to react? You all just basically, you didn't necessarily take their man. They took you, and they all basically came to the fire pit one by one and said, I actually think you're my first choice. I think you're my first choice. Standing next to these girls. If I was these 4 girls, I would have left. I would have packed my bags You're telling me after walking up here thinking it was either maybe 60-40, you say actually 90-10, which we will get to 90-10 in a minute, because that creates a whole trickle down effect in this entire episode. That is the definition of telephone. Telling one thing to another person and the message is just not being relayed how it was the first time. Then people think that it's something that it's not. Way too funny watching this episode back again. Like, how did these CASA girls think that the OGs were gonna act? Like, I know Liv and Nicole are not OGs, but I'm gonna keep calling them OGs, okay? It's just easier that way. Janae, of course, is like so emotional. And even at the pit, which I forgot to mention, she says, who is your first choice? And like I said, all the men, he's like, right now, I think you're my first pick. Like, if I had to choose somebody right now, it would be you, which we all knew that. He was just a little insecure. And, well, obviously really insecure because he brought a girl back. He was insecure that she was going to bring someone. And so now this is what the aftermath of that. And Janae's like crying and obviously upset about it. Aaron comes up to comfort her and has not said a word to Kayla yet. But he's comforting Janae. Which, yes, they're friends. I don't mean it in that way. I just mean, you're not going to talk to Kayla first after everything you've done. Man has still not cried, mind you. Eventually, Aaron does end up telling Kayla about what happened with everything and why Daniela and Rob were together. Like, he was apparently feeling her the first day, this, that, and the other. But she said, and even Daniela ends up saying that she was feeling him the most, yada, yada. Don't believe it, because if you were, you would have went to him more than you would have went to Aaron. You just wanted to be in the house then. That's what you're saying. Like, you're kind of exposing yourself a little bit. It's just the whole scheming thing after I heard about what happened in that episode. It just wasn't sitting right with me, and they were going to bring her back regardless. That's how I took that. Kayla, before the first ad even appears, she tells the girlies, guys, like, I don't know exactly what she says. She's like, girlies, like, please, like, don't call me, like, dumb. Like, I know I'm so stupid for going back to Aaron. Janae's like, you said it, not me. Because, Kayla, girly pop, you're not dumb. I think you're very emotionally intelligent. I think people think the opposite just because she cries a lot, but I just think she's not afraid to show how she feels. And people don't know what it's like to be an empath. But Miss Girl, you couldn't even stand on your word for a night. He didn't cry, he smiled, he didn't say, he did not care. He didn't care what he did because he knew he was gonna get Kayla back. Oh my goodness. It made me so much more upset than I thought because I knew she was gonna take him back, but he didn't have to put no work. He didn't have to put no work at all. And they literally sleep in soul ties together. Soul ties is crazy. So we see Dea and Cordell talking to each other, and basically Cordell is like, I kind of deserve what happened at the fire pit. Dea's like, no, babes, you didn't deserve it. Like, I don't think so. I didn't appreciate the theatrics and everything. And I'm like, girl, like, Cordell is understanding what he did was wrong, and he's understanding that he did deserve that, and you're telling him no. You're saying what he wants to hear. You're saying what he wants to hear because you watch the show and you know what he wants. I'm gonna stand by that. And then she also tried to be like, there was no videos of this, that, and the other, and us filling on each other and try it in a video. When yes, it was. Like, she literally tried to say that wasn't happening. What was it? You didn't have a pillow in between you guys? And like I said, I heard she liked Odell Beckham's pictures on Instagram. Interesting. Now we are back to Kenny and Janae. Mr. and Mrs. Barbie. They need to be in a rom-com. Actually, in fact, they are a rom-com. They need to get cast into one because that whole scene ate down bad. Even though it was emotional and sad, it was so intense. So she wanted him to come back alone and he didn't, and they talk about it. He basically is like low-key trying to say, no, like, I don't want to be here. I literally want to be with you. Like, but like Janae's not really like, she's not listening. She doesn't want to hear it, and understandably so, because like Miss Girlie's hurting. Like, it's still the same night. I don't even think it's been 20 minutes. Like, she needs a minute. But like, I low-key hear him saying, like, while they're both talking at the same time, I can hear him saying like, I don't want to be here. Like, if we can't be together. When his voice was cracking, I was like so weak because I was like, why am I feeling bad right now? Why am I feeling bad that he's like about to cry and saying that like he basically wants to leave if he can't be with her? So then she's like, give me a hug, but F this. They walk off, and this man is just like about to walk alone, and he starts crying, and then he sees Leah and Serena, and they're like, oh, what's wrong? And he just starts crying, and he's like, I just wanna, like, she doesn't wanna like be with me. And he just started crying. I was like, oh my goodness, why am I feeling so bad? Why? Because at first I was like, ew, why is he crying? Like, he's the one who messed up when I saw the preview. But then watching the episode, I was like, guys, I am a little weak. I just want them to be together. It's just so much love they both can give. They could be so happy together. Man just needs to say that he was insecure. He needs to admit that. Men need to admit when they are insecure. and then everything will be right. Hey y'all, so it's the next freaking day and Cordell makes 2 exact replicas, 2 same breakfasts, not a lick different. They're both the same. He brings them upstairs with Rob because he's too afraid to do it on his own. He gives it to Dea. He tries to give it to Serena. I'm not gonna lie, my heart sank when this happened because I just feel for Serena so much because I feel for her this entire episode, later on in this episode, because like this is basically 3 hours of like info because both were like an hour and a half episodes basically. Like, this is so much tea, like it's giving an entire movie. So many people on the island ready to vote people off. I'm ready. Let's do it now. Let's get it done. And also let's bring a bachelor of men, a big bunch of them to the island right now. This new episode or the next episode better be so many men for these girly pops because they need someone. But when Cordell tries to give Serena her food, she flips it on his chest and says, I don't want it. She already did tell him no like 3 times and then he still gave it to her. If he actually wanted Serena, he would have just made her only breakfast. Now, I'm not saying that would have been right for Dea. That would have kind of been disrespectful a little bit. But you know what? If you want to be on Serena's good side, you should have only made her breakfast. Unpopular opinion. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Janae was like, Serena, at least he's trying. Like, love you, Janae, but like, you can't tell her to just accept breakfast and be all nice about it when you're not forgiving Kenny. When you guys were even newer than Cordell and Serena. You, Miss Girly, can't be doing that because you're not giving Kenny a chance. I'm not invalidating your feelings. You deserve to feel the way you feel, but you can't be saying anything to Serena. Meanwhile, while Serena don't want her breakfast, these CASA girls are crying because none of the men are talking to them and bringing them breakfast. They end up all going outside and stuff, you know, doing the Love Island spiel. Aaron and Serena are sitting outside on the couch together. And when she just starts crying again, you can see her tears coming down. I'm just like, oh my goodness. People were trying to say she was so unauthentic. I just think she was terrified to show how she feels. She already had clearly been through something. I'm so glad she moved the way that she did because call it woman's intuition, call it what you want. But I did not think Cordell was like this perfect human being. And he showed his true colors. And I don't think it was because of Serena. I think he would have done it regardless. But Aaron once again cuddling another girl and feeling bad and emotional. That isn't Kaylor. I think he should try to marry Rob. And I love Leah. I love Miss Girly, but she did piss me off a little bit because when she was talking to Mickey about how the men need to bring girls back so that they can know if their feelings for the girls that were already at the house, the OGs, were real or not. They needed to bring the girls back to feel for it. And like they were both just kind of saying that. And when Leah was like, yeah, like, I know I'm kind of like her and was hurt a little bit, but like, when he was like, oh yeah, you just, like, you're different about it. She wears her heart on her sleeve too much. And she was just kind of like agreeing with it. And I just didn't like that scene. It wasn't giving, didn't like it. It just seemed like she was trying to get a little bit of validation or eating up the validation she was getting from a man. I don't think she was trying to. I just think that like when she gets it, like she likes it. If I feel validated by a man, then whatever I said was wrong. I still love her. It's just that specific scene kind of just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I'm not saying she's not supporting Janae or the girl. I think she is. It's just sometimes there's just these little moments where I'm like, Leah, girly. So then they started talking about that video because he was like, no, I don't think Cordell did anything wrong. And then Leah's like, okay, dude. Like Cordell out of everybody, like I think Cordell kind of did the worst. And he was like, yes, he could have maneuvered a little bit differently, but it was only just a fraction, just 10% of what was going on. That video was only 10%. The other 90%, he was talking about how like he still likes Serena and how down he is for her. And apparently Cordell asked Dea if he would bring her and come back and would still choose Serena, would she be okay with that? And she said yes. Which Leah's like, that's crazy. I wouldn't want to come if that's the case. Like if a man said that you know, not my time. But then she switches up his words a little bit. I don't think she meant to, but like, that's kind of what leads to the entire episode, basically. So she basically tells Serena, which Serena, Miss Girly, was looking like Cinderella in that episode. I gotta insert some pictures because she was just giving Cinderella. Literally loved everything about her outfit. It was perfection. I need it. I love it. Obviously, I love light blue. It's everything. And her bows that she be wearing. She's everything. She's everything. Leah ends up telling Serena about how Cordell basically is 10% Dea and 90% Serena, like how much he wants both of them. which kind of isn't what was told to her, but I think that's how she interpreted it, if I'm not mistaken, because that's how I saw the whole interaction between her and Mickey go. So also, I would like to slide in that Kayla and Daniela do end up talking, and Kayla didn't really listen to, like, she kind of just like forgave everything while she was listening to the conversation. I don't think she really listened to the stuff she didn't want to hear. She heard the stuff she wanted to hear, and she smiled basically at the end of the conversation when she heard something that she liked, and then that was that. And I was like, me and the girl Daniela were both like, not that I like Daniela, but like I had the same reaction as her, like, huh? And she's like, I know we're open, I know we're open. No, you guys like weren't really open though. The way he was maneuvering, y'all weren't open in that way. Kayla, you know this, Kayla. Come on, girly pop, like, come on. So Dea and Serena end up talking, because, you know, they need to talk and see what went down, because, you know, it still is best to talk to the girl before you talk to the guy, or at least just still talk to the girl, because you need to know if the man's lying or not. Serena does not want any part in Cordell. She does not want to talk to him. She doesn't want to look at him. She doesn't want to hear his voice, anything. She doesn't want nothing to do with him. So she ends up talking to Dea, because obviously it's necessary. The way Dea is in this conversation, I was trying to defend her a little bit, because something about me, I'm always going to defend the girls. But how the new girls are talking about the OGs and just like how they're maneuvering around this house, I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. Not here for it. I'm not saying that the OGs are perfect, but I just don't like it. They don't know them enough. They're watching a show and making assumptions off of them instead of just getting to know them as people. But how Dea was just smiling and grinning the whole time she was talking about her and Cordell. Even Serena looked like she wanted to throw up. Girl, you don't gotta be that disrespectful about it. Like, you could have just said it with a straight face and went about your day. But she was like, oh my goodness, like, all the men are just saying how cute we are. And, oh my gosh, just like everything. And they've never seen him move the way he does. And he would sparkle and smile and this, that, and the other. Girl, that was so unnecessary. You said you don't like the theatrics? You deserve a diploma. The thing that was really confusing me and tripping me up is Dea kept talking about how she was physical touch is her love language, and she was all touchy-feely with him. But then she was saying it was never like in that kind of way when it's her love language. Okay, it doesn't always necessarily mean that, but when it was with someone you were interested in and you're trying to pursue, yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is. It is a form of love. It is a form of, you know, connecting with them in an emotional way more than a friendship. That's what it is. And she just kept saying it wasn't in that way though. Like, it wasn't like, it's just, that's just like how I am. And me and you are two different people. You're a slower burner and I'm quick with it and more touchy-feely. Stop watching the show. How do you know about Serena? How do you know? Stop watching the show. So then Serena tells her that Leah told her about the 90 to 10% thing, and she asked Dea, is it true, like, that he might come back and recouple up with Serena, even though, like, he's bringing her back, and he was feeling Serena more than he's feeling her, and she said no, not even a little bit. That was never told to me, which obviously we already knew that, because that conversation was miscommunication between Miggy and Leah, but no one else knows that. I don't even think Miggy realizes what he said, like, or the way he worded stuff, or how Leah took it. I don't think he realized that, like, that wasn't it either. So, like, everyone's just gonna be so confused in this entire thing. So Serena walks away and says, thank you for telling me everything. She walks away. Miss Girlie's on a mission, and the music was eating. The whole scene of her walking around Miss Cinderella, telling the boys to stop moping around. Little old me. That's how they were acting. She's like, stop moping around. You both are pieces of crap. And she said, Cordell, you are full of... She said, Cordell, you are full of it. And like, just Serena breaking down this episode again, like I said before, it just made me... It made me hurt so bad for her, because she deserves the world. She deserves everything. She deserves someone who is on the same pace as her, because he was kind of acting like he was okay with it, but clearly he wasn't. If you are a fast-paced mover, but you say that you're okay with moving slow, don't lie. If you're not, then don't. Clearly, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to her, because I just can't stand when a specific girl's just getting too much hate. I don't like when Liv gets too much hate. I didn't like when Andrea was getting too much hate. People need to figure out which direction we're putting our hate on. I think the men deserve a little bit more hate than these girls do. Andrea, in my opinion, I don't think she necessarily did anything wrong. People are like, well, she wasn't trying to get to know the girls and stuff. Miss Girlie was on the show for like 24 hours. I think she should have been working on her connection with Rob. I'm not saying I'm a fan of her. I don't know her enough. I just feel like people are trying to judge her way too quickly. Like, Miss Girlie was literally on like a couple episodes. Like, I don't think she deserves the hate that she's getting. Just saying. But her being a Love Island fan page now is hilarious, and posting all these videos about Love Island. Love that for her. Hopefully she's in her influencer era because she deserves it. And Serena and Cordell finally start walking and talking. Can I just say, another scene. So much chemistry, so much heat in the air. I know they were arguing, but y'all can't tell me that didn't kind of eat. Like him following her and them talking to each other, it was just too hot. It was everything. It was everything and more. It was giving movie. This was absolutely the best movie night. Them walking and talking was just so intense. A part of me wants them to be together because there's clearly so much chemistry. But this dude, like, he could have moved so much more respectfully. But as she said, he wanted to get his Peter Whacker wet. Just because he got a little bit of attention. And like, she finally was like letting her guard down and everything, and he disrespected her. She's kind of just like going off on him and stuff because like he deserves it. Everything he did was effed up, and she just does not want to hear him. And she ends up walking away, and he's like following her and stuff. And like, she basically just says she's done, and he just kept saying, Serena, Serena, Serena. Like, he just is following her like a puppy, as he should be. But again, I kind of ate it up. I just like, it's like a part of me wants them together, but like, we know that they could have been endgame. He had to move the way he did in like CASA more to test what they were feeling for each other. And basically she just doesn't want to hear from him, and Serena says it's over and go get your girl. And then that's the end of the episode. That was a lot. It was literally everything. We'll probably be back here in a few days so I can do at least like 3 episodes at a time. And I still love Kayla. I'm gonna still stand up for her, but like, she couldn't even stand on her words for more than 2 seconds. She forgave him. He didn't even have to work for it. But girl, you slept in Soul Ties. Soul Ties is crazy. Kayla's gonna watch the season back, and she's gonna realize everything that really went on in CASA AMOR and how they were closer than just a few kisses, Daniela and Aaron. And she's hopefully not gonna be with him. I don't know how things are gonna play out for the relationship, but I saw a clip saying that he's gonna ask her to be his girlfriend, and Rob is like, oh my god, I'm so happy for ya. I'm not. But thank you for sitting through this TED Talk and watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Samya Swan, and I have a TikTok and Instagram if you guys want to follow me on it. Talk about this stuff in the comments, please. Bye.